with him this morning, and really the message was, just to review the game. I went through offense, defense, and kicking. I probably went through 30-some plays in order of the game. And the reason I did that was to show them the sequence of how we're all tied together: offense, defense, kicking, scoring, affecting the scoring, areas, and what the takeaway does, the power of the takeaway that we had. We had a couple good takeaways. And then the finish, and show how we got to finish together as a football team. So that was good. And I talked about the good in there. I talked about the not so good, where we need to improve. And like I said in the beginning, that I lay everything on the table. I put it right there for everybody to see, and talk about the player. And we're evaluating the number, and not the man himself, just evaluating his performance as we go there. So, and then really I left the message for the guys from this morning is, what can I do? What can I do when you have adversity? You have a couple questions you have to ask. You say, what can I do to make this thing better? How can I help others? How can I help the guy next to me? How can I help if I'm a backup role? How can I help the starter, and vice versa? That's an important thing. And then I said, hey, you got to work hard. You got to go to work and work hard, and then you got to be smart. You got to be smart on how you work and how you do things, how you study to prepare yourself to perform better the next time. And the guys are real receptive to that. And to go through adversity, you have to be hard. You have to be mentally tough. You have to be and be physically tough to go through that. And we're going through it right now. And it's important that guys are really good in terms of having their eyes forward. And I thought we had a real good response from those guys today. And I'm excited about this week in terms of preparing for the Jets and getting going here for this week of work we have ahead of us. So open up to questions from there.
In the fourth quarter that Justin was dealing with cramps yesterday, and if so, when you guys met as coaches this morning, went over the final sequence of the game, were there any second thoughts about having him run on those first two plays of that last drive, considering
we thought we had it under control, the cramps. We know he's dealt with that before, because obviously he puts out a lot of energy during the game, and we're going to call our plays that we think are the best there, so that's what we did, and we went with it.
What's the latest that you know on Justin's shoulder?
Yeah, so right now it's, obviously you guys know the injury report comes out Wednesday, and right now it's day to day. We'll see where he is on Wednesday. So we got time, and we'll see where it is and go from there.
If he was to miss time, how challenging would it be to kind of reset the offense, given how much changes you guys have made in the past month to give it an identity?
Yeah, I don't think that would take that much. We would just lean on one side of the offense, as opposed to leaning on the side that we've expanded to a certain degree. So I think that would be a pretty easy transition. Trevor is obviously a very smart individual, a very good passer, so has a great grasp on the offense. He's been here since day one. High functional intelligence, so we'll be excited about that guy.
Do you believe he can play on Sunday?
Oh yeah, no doubt. He's in a backup role, and I certainly.
Talking about Justin, not Trevor.
Oh yeah, we'll see where it goes day to day. We'll see. We've got to evaluate it, on Wednesday, and then we'll see where it is from there.
Is this something, though, is this a situation with just, a quarterback who gets hit and it's a non-throwing shoulder, he says it affects his throwing motion, that you have to weigh the longer-term effects of this, of maybe shutting him down for a game or two, just to preserve him, because he does take a lot of hits and doesn't get calls for some of them and things
Yeah,
like that?
I think that's a good point. Certainly all those things have to be looked at. When you're looking at injury for any player, what's the long-term effects of that, and then where is it? Where exactly is it? And, is it something that we can play through, or is it something that we need to have rest? So it's something that with every player we take that equation, those two things.
when you talk.
Have you been able to rule out whether it's season-ending or not?
We have not ruled that out at this point. We'll see where it is on Wednesday.
Just are willing to give us
Play that he suffered the injury that first down. Yeah. Just two quick things. One, do you guys have to take a timeout even though he went out of bounds because you were checking on him, correct? Was that the sequence there?
Because they deemed it as an injury, the officials did. So then at that point, we either were going to switch in, put Trevor in for a play, keep our timeout, or we had to use the timeout because we were inside 2 minutes.
And when you guys looked back at that sequence, and whether you and Luke and Andre and Justin all figure out, did you think about putting Trevor in? Do you kind of wish you guys had put him in that situation just to protect Justin?
No. Justin said he was good, and he went back in. So we just took the timeout and went from there.
When you talk to Justin, how is he? Is he still in pain? Is he uncomfortable? What was his whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's day to day. We'll see where it is.
How's he
Yeah,
doing?
I think you can ask him when he comes up here on Wednesday or whatever day he's come up here this week.
Coming out of that timeout, were you okay with the second down play call since he was clearly in pain?
Which was?
Just that he ran, the run up the middle.
Yeah, that was a mistake. That was supposed to be halfback draw. So he's supposed to hand it off there, and that was supposed to be Demo going up the middle.
What caused that? What caused that mistake?
Miscommunication. I think it was just miscommunication on that particular play between the halfback, quarterback, and all that. So, yep.
Matt, you guys have run Justin a lot, obviously, over the last month, and it's been successful. But do you guys ever think that maybe you run him too much?
You gotta balance that, and I've said that since we started this, since the New England game. I said, hey, you gotta make sure we're smart about what we're doing. And that, I'm still saying the same thing. You gotta be smart. You gotta stay out of harm's way. And we're constantly talking to him about that, because he is an aggressive guy. And he's strong and all those things, but he is our quarterback. So we gotta make sure that he does, gets to the sideline and works himself out. And then when he is in the middle part of the field, slide. And he did a pretty good job of that yesterday. But he was in harm's way a couple times.
The middle of the field when he did slide though, and he didn't get the call on that, like what do you do on that? I mean, Jarrett's helmet hit him right in the area that it was affected, and he didn't get that call.
Yeah, I mean, we just got to do a good job. I think we got to look at it. I think that we got to protect these quarterbacks, and that's including our quarterback. We have to do a better job in the league. The total league has to do a good job of that. So, again, these guys are special. All these quarterbacks are special. We got to do a great job protecting them when they are on the sideline and when they are in the open field.
How difficult is deciding whether or not Justin should play or not play, given that he takes hits differently than other quarterbacks do? There's a little bit of running back in him, and just in terms of the violence of the play. I imagine that there's no book you can look at and say, this is, this quarterback plays like Justin Fields, and this is how we handled him, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, I mean that's every week, right? We look and see how we play guys, and the quarterback's no different. Like I said, we just got to make sure we stay out of harm's way and do a good job sliding when you're supposed to slide and working yourself out of bounds.
Man, with the leg discomfort that he's having, is it just cramping, or is there anything beyond that you guys are looking into, or is it just the cramping?
No, I think it's just the cramping. I just think he's got to do a good job, with preparing, as we go through. Again, you never know how it comes about. You just got to make sure that each player does a good job preparing his body, so make sure he's at peak performance at game time. And sometimes you can't do anything about it. Sometimes your body's just cramping. You put out a lot of energy, you sweat a lot, and you cramp sometimes. But that's all it really was.
You're always positive, about your players, with your players, but in this situation, at what point do you have to kind of toggle from good cop to bad cop to get the message across when things aren't going?
Yeah, I mean, it's really the same message. I put everything on the table, just like I did in the team meeting today. So like I said, there's no wouldn't say good cop to bad cop. It's just what it is. There's performance and then non-performance. And then how do we get non-performance to turn into a good performance? And that's us as coaches, working with the players, the partnership we've always talked about to get that job done. So to me, it's everybody. It's the coaching, it's the playing, it's the performance, the game time performance, and then the evaluation of that, move on to the next game.
But almost like a parent with a disappointed child. Do you have to? Does your tone change? Do you have to find a different method to get the point across?
Yeah, I think that these guys are men, and I think that they do a good job of understanding that when they do perform well, that they got to reset, and move on, and then they also know when they perform at the level they didn't want to move on and perform better the next week. I have several examples of that for guys that have had a non-performance or a performance they didn't like, and then the next week they responded and had a good performance. And that's what we're searching for. And then we're searching for ultimately consistency of having performance where we're a B performer, A performer, B performer, A-plus performer the whole week. And we've got a football team of doing that, we're going to have a good performance. And right now we're just having too much inconsistencies there. We're having some D's, some F's, some C's, some B's, A's. So the level of the football team needs to be at a B+. For us to be able to perform the way we want to.
What went into the decision at the end of the first half to go with the 56-yard field goal attempt over punting there?
Yeah, so it was at the end there, and we were inside, and that was in the range. That was in the range that we thought, and Cairo thought that we were good to do it. Again, like I said, after the game, he just hit the middle of the ball too low, we got to perform better in that moment. But I'm sure if he had it back, he would make the kick. But again, we just got to move forward from there.
When Justin takes these hits and doesn't get the flags and the questionable hits, is that something where you guys send it into the league and say, hey, other quarterbacks get these calls and our guy doesn't?
You send them in when you feel like you're something is a wrong call or whatever. Sure, you send it in, and we're really doing that for feedback. We're doing it for feedback for ourselves and how we can improve Justin and his style, and just to say was it a call? Should that have been called or not? And so we can be consistent there.
How many of those have you sent roughly throughout this year? On Justin?
Yeah.
Do you
On
think
Justin?
it's High volume, or just in terms of that very circle.
Yeah, I would say it's probably 1 or 2 a week. I bet. Just because of the, what he's doing right now with the ball.
Just curious, when you were in Indy, obviously you guys had a roof that could be closed. Would you practice outside in the cold when you knew you had a indoor game on Sunday?
Yes, we would. Yes, we would. As long as the weather was good and good enough, we would do that. To me, you got to look at the whole football team when you're doing that. Because when you practice inside on turf, it's wear and tear on the legs. With the line, offense and defensive line, and the receivers that run all those, the DBs that run all those distances. So you got to take that into effect. And if the weather's good, and we feel it's not too windy or any issue like that, we're going to go outside, and then we'll practice. If we're inside on Friday, Fast Friday inside, and then Saturday we'll do our walkthrough in there, and then we'll get ourselves ready to go from there.
You're talking here about competitive advantage and being careful with what you say sometimes to not give away too much. What do you think is gained in the next 48 hours by there being some uncertainty about Justin's availability?
Just not knowing. I mean, we guys got to make sure we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. And again, it is day to day, so we'll see where it is. That's all I really can give you right now.
You're saying it's day to day, because Patrick was talking about, is it a season-ending injury? So we're not going to find out on Wednesday that it's season-ending injury, right?
Well, we'll find out Wednesday. We'll see where it is. We'll see how he's feeling, how he's doing, and it's like a day-to-day proposition right now, so we'll see.